So Tina,
Yes.
what should we take from this? What of this can we apply to our life right now in the 21st century, in 2019, that is meaningful? You get the easy questions.
We should all get AT&T.
Okay. What do we take from the holiness codes now? What do we take from Leviticus now? One of the things that I really sort of looked at this as this broad stroke of why is Leviticus there? What is it telling us? And why is it part of the canon? And what are the codes about? As we've heard unpacked here. They are about a people that were slaves becoming a community of people who are free. And these are ways that we separate ourselves, as we've heard, we separate ourselves from the other communities around us that are doing other different things. We don't want to be like that, so we are going to be different. We are going to do things differently. And in doing those things differently, they are doing things that they feel God is telling them to do to draw them closer to God, away from these other things, these other communities, and towards God, and towards each other as well, in building community. And one of the questions that I asked myself was, in thinking about how do we bring this into the 21st century? How do we bring this into 2019? I thought, what do our holiness codes look like today? If we were going to write a holiness code today, what would it include? And what does it look like? Because the holiness code then is not necessarily something that we can pull out and say, and this is what we will do now. As much as it tells us about then, and the people then, and what they needed then. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about what is it that our culture worships that is not God? Which there was one thing that popped into my mind right away. Anybody?
Football.
Football, money, Facebook. You know, there's stuff. You know, there's a lot of things that are in the community around us in which we live that draw our attention away from God. And what do our codes look like? Spoken or written, not written, what do they look like that would pull us back and separate us from that?
So the thing that's really interesting about that is the question that it brings up for me is, how are those holiness codes written now?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so everybody says football right off the bat, and I immediately think of taking the knee.
Yep.
And what that means, and who determines what's right and what's wrong about that action.
Yes.
And even though there's no committee, right, there's no like priestly group writing their portion of this for the official record book, oh, it gets written.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. There's a question.
Bill?
Not a question as much as a comment. I wouldn't call holiness codes football or anything like that. I'd take it to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the things we take for granted. I think that is part of the problem we're having with our bipartisan, our terribly divided country, is how we interpret that and what they stand for and what they represent. So that would be my comment.
And I think that's true. And it can go to Joe's question earlier about the shades of purple and how we look at those things differently. And well, I'm gonna, we get that place of, well, this is my code kind of goes with you, but it also kind of goes over here. So I'm kind of separating myself from you because we agree here, but we don't agree here. So now we have a different group. And so that separation continues. So, so yeah, and I think that there are different people that write them, and there are different ways that they get written, and some of them don't get written.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to guess, and then we realize that we've crossed the line of the code when we crossed the line of the code. We didn't know that was there.
I think you raise a great question in that, what is our contemporary code? And in some places, there's gotta be some common ones that everybody is sharing as being true code. We don't go around killing each other, generally speaking. We don't rob banks, generally speaking. There are some codes we do follow.
And that was the next question. What are the good codes that we all follow?
Yeah, and there are codes in Leviticus. Seth and I were having a little conversation about that. There are some rules that are good that we follow. Love your neighbor is in there. That's a good one. We talk about that one a lot. You know, there are some other pieces in there that are good. Don't steal from each other. You know, those caring for your neighbor covers a whole swath of things, but there definitely are some in there.
All right, to many in here, this might sound like a simple or silly question, but for those of us who are not Christian, are the Jews still separated into these different tribes? And if they are, do they know what tribe they're in? And the reason I'm saying that, so if I'm not a Levite or a Levite, then can I ignore these rules? Or is it now that they've all come back together into one tribe again? I mean, I'm really confused. Is that a whole other discussion for another time?
There are different, but you guys may have more to say than I do about that.
Well, holiness comes for all.
It's wrong.
The Levites were a tribe that was without land. They were the priestly tribe, so they weren't assigned land in the promised land. And all the other tribes were expected to care for them, their needs, and they provided the religious work of the people. But the people were one. The rules applied to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So it didn't matter what tribe you were in. This applied to everyone. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I agree 100%. Some people still claim that they come through a Levite lineage, so there is still a sense of that. I don't think other tribes so much, but
There's the lost tribe.
there's the lost tribe.
They were
We really need to talk to a rabbi though if you want to go much beyond that. I think so. Yeah.
And it's kind of like the United States, right? The United States was formed from a whole bunch of different people from a whole bunch of different lands. In theory, we're all one nation, and yet we're still divided into tribes. They're just different tribes now. Any other questions on this before we move on to Samuel?
Just a couple of quick things. So with, we tithe 10%.
Right.
No, it's supposed to be 20%, because 10% to the temple, 10% to the Levites. So the priest should get 10%, remember that.
Oh, wow.
I work for the church, do I get
One of the things about the word abomination was, it really does sound horrible. You're an abomination. One other way of looking at it was, we don't do that. The Joneses might do it, but we don't. And has anyone seen the AT&T ad? It took me a long time to figure it out, but it's all about holiness codes and abomination. Teenage girl walks into the living room. Her mother is by the window, very distraught. Father's there. We know what you've done. We know about that video you made. She goes, but it was fun. We were dancing. I was over at Sally's house. Yes. And we raised you better than that. That was crappy internet they used. You have AT&T. You've got good internet. That, in their house, is an abomination. And that.
It's his mic.
So, Maggie, you got a question, right?
Going back to the earlier discussion of this was written for the wealthy men, and sort of the rules of not trespassing on other people. It's your property, it's okay. And I'm trying to reconcile, if it's your property, okay, yes, you can have concubines and that's okay, but if you have male slaves and you have your own animals, is it okay or not okay to have sex with them because they're your property, but they're of that group that you shouldn't?
Yep, that starts to blur categories, so you've got to keep human beings and animals separate. And again, the idea of keeping, of upholding male honor and of keeping bodily fluids separate starts to come into play. So there's lots of different overlapping categories that start to come into play. But animals are pretty across the board. Don't mess with animals. We'll end on that. Let's go to